Let's do a tornado siren.
Well, whether it's hot, whether it's cold, whether it's hot, Frankie's got the weather we got. Wait a minute. Well, whether it's cold, whether it's hot, Frankie's got the weather, whether or not. There it is.
It's coming.
We're back!
The time is now to get your winter tires at McDonald Auto Group.
Get your winter tires at the McDonald Auto because the winter is coming, especially bad blizzards and snowstorms.
All major brands for as low as $74.95. Cars, trucks, and SUVs, fast and professional installation. Don't wait till the last minute. Get into any McDonald Auto Group location and be prepared.
Best of luck to you. I'm Frankie McDowell. No gimmicks, no games, no golf. Joey only.
What's going on?
Say hi, Joey only.
Hello.
Say hi, Joey only.
Hi, Joey.
I'm Frankie McDowell. You're listening to Community Meteorology Weather Report every Thursday night at 11 p.m. Atlantic Time, 7 p.m. Pacific Time. Community plus Meteorology. Joey only is a great guy. He does the weather reports. And I'm on his show every Thursday nights on his YouTube channel Terrible Weather Dude, Convenient Plus Meteorology. Joey only, he's a nice guy. He lives in Wells Ferry, British Columbia. He fights fires. I'm on his podcast every Thursday nights at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 11 p.m. Atlantic Standard Time. I'm Frank Down. You're listening to Joey Only Show. Say hi, Joey Only.
Hi, Joey.
Good morning, Prince George, and good afternoon, Winnipeg. This is the Comedy Meteorology Report. I am Joey Only here in Wells, British Columbia. The Comedy Meteorology Show, Cometeorology. That's what you get when you put comedy and meteorology together. The weather is funny business. Hello to all you cometeorology students at the University of Winnipeg, especially. I'd like to say hello to you and encourage you to keep up with your studies, to go to your classes, to live a nice, sober, studential life and become good meteorologists because the people need you so that they know what to do when the bad weather comes. The bad weather is coming here in BC. It's been coming a lot. We got the atmospheric river in full swing, and we're talking about breaking some records for October rainfall for the second half of October, actually, in parts of the coast. So, gone from a dry situation to extremely rainy very fast. I have Cleopatra, Imogen, Cookie Bailey here with me on the show already. And, of course, Frankie McDonald, the man himself from Sydney, Nova Scotia, will be on very soon. He's sending everyone messages right now to remind him to come on the show. I'm afraid that we might not have Brandon Houck live this week. You may have to watch the final version of the show I'll put on my YouTube, Joey Only, Caribou Weather Dude, or you may have to hear us in full on the radio if you're watching the live stream right now, because Brandon Houck is at a haunted house. It's Halloween. It's actually the 27th of October today. It's Thursday, October 27th. You'll be hearing us on the 29th in Prince George, and you'll be hearing us on the 31st on Halloween Day in Winnipeg. So there's that time traveling thing we do where we're making a weather show, but we're making it 5 days before most of you are going to hear it in the big city there. So take our weather reporting with a grain of salt because we are really just trying to catch up on the stories of the week and do so in a lighthearted way. So without much further ado, it's going to take him a second to get on board here. But the man himself, Frankie McDonald, everyone just loves this guy. He's out in Sydney, Nova Scotia. He's walking around. They had a hurricane there a few weeks ago, but that's okay. He's doing well, and the power's back on. And he's with us now, standing probably outside A&W. Frankie McDonald, how are you doing so far this week?
I'm doing great so far.
Frankie, the weatherman. Frankie, the weatherman. Who?
Frankie!
Who?
Frankie!
Ladies and gentlemen, Frankie!
And the weather is getting colder in my area right now.
Yeah, how cold?
Pretty cold in my area.
Looks like Frankie's not quite ready. We'll give him 1 second to get set up.
Oh, Frankie's always ready, man. Frankie's a champ.
Now, sometimes he needs a minute to kind of send a few messages and get himself
Yeah.
in game performance mode. So I'm thinking a second here, we're going to get
Brandon,
full Frankie
how's the haunted
forecast.
house?
Brandon is in a haunted house. That's correct. So Frankie, talk to us about Canada weather right now. We got snow happening in lots of places.
Yeah, right now, it's a lot of rain in Vancouver, British Columbia, because atmospheric headed for the west coast of Canada.
You said that was going to happen, didn't you?
Yes, Vancouver's getting so much rain right now on the West Coast. And down in the States, they're bringing cold weather all across New York City. They got a lot of rain heading for New York City on Halloween. In Washington, D.C. and Eastern Seaboard United States, scared they're getting a lot of rain on Halloween. In Los Angeles, it's going to get lots of rain next week. They're bringing a lot of thunderstorms in Mexico City, in Guatemala, Costa Rica, Honduras, El Salvador, and Nicaragua, and places like Panama. They're getting a lot of rain and thunderstorms right now. So is Venezuela and northern South America. Once getting around to Peru, there's a lot of dry weather. Southern Peru, northern Chile, it's really, really dry right now. They're bringing lots of storm spring in the year in southern Argentina. They're bringing lots of rain and snow up the mountains in Argentina and Chile. And it's really Brazil beginning the rainy season like Rio de Janeiro. And up around the United Kingdom, those places, they're getting warm air, cold air fighting each other. And rain and snow and things like this in United Kingdom and those places. Over in Japan, warm air, cold air fighting each other in Japan and places like this. Southeastern Australia bringing lots of rain and hail and thunderstorms in Southeastern Australia, New Zealand, warm air, cold air fighting each other. So South Africa, Antarctica will be dark, light on 24 hours a day in November.
Who has the worst weather in the world right now, Frankie?
There's a volcano in Hawaii. It's about to erupt.
Mauna Loa. That's correct.
In the island of Hawaii.
Yeah, I have seen that. There's been lots of micro earthquakes at the summit there this week. I did see as well. And she's ready to go, it sounds like. Mauna Loa, Hawaii. Who else has the worst weather in the world?
They're getting lots of storms in Japan and things like this. And in Indonesia beginning the rainy season, India's monsoon season sign off. There's a possible storm going to develop and like a tropical disturbance off the coastal Atlantic as of right now.
Hey, Frankie, so we were on a podcast. I think it was it yesterday or 2 days ago? Frankie Cochrane.
The guy in Miramichi, New Brunswick.
Yeah, talk to us about that.
So where are you right now, Frankie? What are we looking at behind you?
Imogen wants to know where you are, Frankie.
I remember that Frankie from Miramichi, New Brunswick interviewed you on Tuesday.
Yeah, it was quite the interview. Talk to us about that. And Imogen wants to know where you are right now.
I'm outside the A&W building in Sydney, on Prince Street in Sydney.
You know, you do a lot of live streaming from there. They should really be giving you some fries or something. Throw you a bunch of grandpa burgers or whatever their good one is.
Yeah, are you
a lot of advertising.
Do you go to that A&W to eat frequently, Frankie?
Yes. I did you hear about that? I was on another podcast with Compound Media earlier today. I did you hear about that? And I'll be on Gary Dino's show Saturday night. I'll be on Jason Marshall's show on Sunday.
Oh, I didn't hear about that. That's great news. What's your favorite hamburger at A&W, Frankie?
Grandpa burger, just mustard, cheese, and bacon.
Nice. I guessed it.
Imogen got it. I'm a Team Burger fan, but I know Frankie doesn't like tomatoes on his burgers. So yeah, we did a podcast with Frankie Cochrane there in Miramichi, New Brunswick, and I believe it'll be ready next week, Tuesday, he said.
Cool.
He's going to interview somebody else altogether.
Yeah, then he makes a complete show, and it should be on his live stream there next week. But I thought we did really good, and we also had Trey Campbell on. That was super cool, catching Trey. So really fun. Thanks for pulling me on that interview, Frankie. Always enjoy doing that.
And did you hear about that Brian might join soon?
Right on. Brian Schmidt from Portland Weather Uncensored. It would be really good to hear his take on this atmospheric river. What do you have for Halloween tips for the kids this year? Be
very, very careful trick-or-treating and things like this. I just made a video. It's on my YouTube channel. It's going to be a good Halloween all across Canada and the United States, including Toronto, Sydney, Halifax, Montreal, and Vancouver. And when you go trick-or-treating, you'll be very, very, very careful this year. Kids will be getting pumpkins and pumpkin pies and things like this. And kids will be getting lots of treats on Halloween. When they go trick-or-treating, you better be real careful when you're trick-or-treating. Make sure to stay away from bad kids. Don't go near any bad kids. On the facts about the Halloween night 2022, it's going to be a great Halloween. You better watch out for bad kids smashing pumpkins and things like this, doing bad stuff. And watch out for kids. Don't go near bad kids on Halloween night 2022. It's going to bring a lot of bad kids smashing pumpkins this year. Be very careful of bad kids. Kids will be dressing up as, and then the other people will be dressing up as Frankenstein's, Dracula's, superheroes, and dressing up as vampires, Frankensteins, ghosts, goblins, dressed up as other monsters and things like this in various Halloween costumes like doctors, lawyers, teachers. They be dressed up as professional sportsmen like hockey players, baseball players, football players, basketball players, golf players, and things like this on Halloween night 2022. People be going trick-or-treating. When the kids go trick-or-treating, be extra careful going trick-or-treating this year for people living in Canada, the United States, the United Kingdom, Europe, Asia, Africa, Australia, New Zealand, Fiji Islands, South Pacific tropical islands, and things like this, including Argentina, South America, and things like this. You'll be real careful going trick-or-treating this year on the Halloween night 2022. Halloween follows on a Monday, October 31st, 2022. You'll be real careful going trick-or-treating. Don't go trick-or-treating alone, because it could be bad kids smashing pumpkins and things like this. It could be things like this on Halloween night. You'll be real careful this year. When the kids will have a great time. People will be going to Halloween parties and things like this. Will have a great time at Halloween parties. You'll be real careful. Watch out for bad kids. Don't go near any bad kids on Halloween night 2022. People will be dressing up as superheroes, dressing up as pumpkins, Draculas, vampires, Frankensteins, ghosts, goblins, zombies, and things like this in Halloween night 2022. If this year Halloween falls on Monday, October 31st, 2022. Be very careful out there. Good luck and stay safe.
What else do you have to say, though, for the kids trick-or-treating right now?
Be very careful. Don't go near bad kids. Stay away from bad kids smashing pumpkins. I say that in the video.
Yeah, I gotta be careful of those teenagers, too, right?
Well, teenagers are generally pretty rotten. However, I'm more worried about the creepy guys in the free candy van. Because candy is the bait that everyone's passing around, but when it's advertised as free on a night when it's all free, that's a little suspect.
I saw I got Frankie smile and cracked a smile there when I said those teenagers.
Yeah.
Them teenagers, hey, Frankie.
Hey, hi, Joey Only.
Hi, Joey Oli.
I'm Frank Adele. You're listening to Community Meteorological Weather Report with Joey Only on every Thursday night at 7 p.m. Pacific Time, 11 p.m. Atlantic Time. Joey Only is a really nice man. He fights fires. He does weather reports and things like this. He fights fires in the summer months in British Columbia. Joey Only lives in Wells, British Columbia. He lives in Wells, British Columbia. He has his own YouTube channel, Comedian Plus Meteorology, Caribou Weather Dude. I'm on his show every Thursday nights at 7 p.m. Pacific Time, 11 p.m. Atlantic Standard Time. I'm Frank Adele. You're listening to Community Meteorological Weather Report, Caribou Weather Dude. The Joey Only Show. Say hi, Joey Only. I'm Frank Adele. You're listening to Community Meteorological Weather Report. Say hi, Joey Only.
Hi, Joey Oli.
What are you doing for Halloween, Cleopatra, Image, and Cookie Bailey?
No specific plans. Halloween is an adventure, and I just wait to see what happens. So depending on what messages pop up on my phone at what time, that's waiting for the secret plans to be sent my way.
Eat some shrooms and walk out your door in any general direction you feel like it. So you got that atmospheric river going on. It's not quite as rainy in Victoria perhaps as other places, but
I'm hoping we get some snow this year. We've gotten the season shifts very quickly here. We don't have like a hot summer and it gradually cools off. It's that it's hot all the way through.
According to that, the climate change is getting hot summer more often in Victoria, British Columbia because of global climate change.
We do go from a roasting hot summer where everyone's complaining about how it's never been this hot. And then, the first week of October ends and all of a sudden the switch flips and it goes cold. It goes very quickly to freezing nights, freezing rain sets in. It's damp right now. We keep hearing about all this rain showers and downpours and blah, blah, blah. And it's just been mild rain, damp, rainy, drizzly. I think today actually qualified as rain. But usually it's just like lately it's just been drizzle and a little bit of wetness.
As we say here in Wells, we have several seasons. And so there's winter and then there's dog crap season, which is when the snow melts.
Yep.
And then when the snow melts, that makes puddles so that bug season can happen. And then bug season ends and you have a couple nice weeks. And it was lovely. Extended, beautiful fall for us. We had no hurricanes like Frankie did. The weather's been
and the only other
until this week.
Is Hurricane Ian hitting Fort Myers, Florida, after Fiona hit Sydney, Nova Scotia.
Here comes the story of the hurricane.
This is Frankie McDowell, my own TV station live in Sydney, Nova Scotia. Here's my 2023 Atlantic hurricane season forecast. It's going to bring much above average hurricane season Atlantic. It's going to bring a lot of storms all across Texas, Atlantic Canada, and Florida, and East Coast United States, including Nova Scotia, Prince Edward Island, New Brunswick, Newfoundland, Quebec, and even Ontario and Wisconsin and all these places. It's going to bring a lot of hurricanes. There'll be 26 named storms, 15 hurricanes, 10 major hurricanes. It's going to bring a lot of storms all across East Coast of the United States, and it's going to bring a lot of hurricanes that can do a lot of damage to things like this. It's going to be really, really bad because waters are very warm in the Atlantic for the next hurricane season. It's going to bring a lot of hurricanes in the Atlantic, Gulf Coast of Mexico, Caribbean, and all these places. It's going to bring so much hurricanes in the Atlantic. It's going to bring really, really bad hurricane conditions in the Atlantic in the next hurricane season. And the peak of the hurricane season will be September 2023. In July and August 2023, there'll be so much sandstorms coming all the way from Sahara Desert. It's going to travel with a lot of sand all the way from Sahara Desert all the way to Caribbean. That could limit hurricanes and things like this. It's going to bring so much hurricanes next hurricane season. It's going to bring very strong winds, heavy downpours, and things like this. I hope everyone has to be prepared. In eastern United States, Atlantic Canada, Gulf Coast, Florida, Ontario, and Quebec, and those places for 2023 Atlantic hurricane season. It's going to bring much above average hurricane season. In Atlantic, it's going to bring a lot of rain and things like this for 2023 Atlantic hurricane season, including New York City, Boston, Washington, D.C., Miami, Florida, Houston, Texas, Dallas, Texas, Galveston, Texas, New Orleans, Louisiana, Mobile, Alabama, and Mississippi as well. It's going to bring much above average hurricane season Atlantic in 2023 Atlantic hurricane season. It's going to bring a lot of storms, one right after another, especially in September 2023. For people living in the East Coast of the United States, Atlantic Canada, Florida, Nova Scotia, PEI, New Brunswick, Newfoundland, Quebec, and Ontario, Texas, and all these places, Louisiana, Alabama, Mississippi, Arkansas, Missouri, and even Wisconsin. Be prepared for 2023 Atlantic hurricane season. Be safe.
What's going on for hurricanes this week, Frankie?
They're trying to, there's a disturbances and things like this. It's too hard to tell yet. Florida got hit by Hurricane Ian hard. On Friday, November the 18th, polar bear season ends in Churchill.
So yeah, we got one tropical disturbance, 40% chance of cyclone formation in 48 hours, southwestern Atlantic. This is, I would characterize it as several hundred kilometers east of Cuba. A trough of low pressure continues to produce a broad area of disorganized showers and thunderstorms there. A surface low pressure system is forecast to emerge along the northern portion of the trough, access tonight or Friday, and some subsequent development could occur through Saturday.
Eastern, there could be more storms developed in Eastern Pacific. I'm checking that right now. Hurricane
season generally, it used to be definitely a September 1st through November 31st kind of thing. But I think over the years, we've seen that expand, haven't we, Frankie? We've seen hurricanes start earlier in the year, and we've seen hurricanes go later in the year.
What are the chances of frog rain? It's hurricane season, and that generally leads to some frogs downpouring somewhere. Where in the world has the highest probability of being rained on with frogs?
Yeah, I think in order to propel the frogs up into the clouds, Imogen, you probably need a vortex of some sort, say funnel cloud. So where that happens frequently would be Bermuda, off the coast of Florida, those areas where you get water spouts frequently. I think some of the mystique of the Bermuda Triangle was solved by meteorologists who
I got news from
realize that.
I got news from YouTube. YouTube's changing a lot lately because YouTube changing a lot lately.
Is it a good change, Frankie?
Don't know yet. The YouTube's changing, keeps changing nonstop.
So these funnels can form very, very suddenly.
It's the magic of a funnel. They come out of nowhere. A portal to hell opens and a funnel comes out.
So that's the theory now, that a lot of boats and planes found themselves caught into a sudden violent downdraft for an aircraft, perhaps even, right? Set it off its axis. In the 30s and 40s and 50s, that was the thing, the Bermuda Triangle, but over time.
Yeah. Well, stuff would
as navigation improved.
Yeah, it's the tools got a lot more fine-tuned and we had better oversight of everything. So yeah. But I like the idea that it was aliens. I'm not letting go of that. As far as I'm concerned, it's still aliens doing it.
You look like you're from Stargate right now, so I'll take your word for it.
Stargate had a lot of the Egyptian imagery in their thing, or mythology in their world, didn't they?
Yes, it was a beautifully made movie in a lot of respects.
Never saw it. I just remember seeing little bits or hearing about it. But circling back to the frog rain, there was a brilliant documentary set in Vancouver quite a few years ago where frog rain happened. And I believe it was directed by Chris Carter. Some wonderful FBI agents were investigating an incident of frog rain. So for those of you who remember, it was pretty big news when that happened.
It rained frogs in Calgary on August 4th, 1921.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, so
So I just sent you a link. I just sent you a link about facts about the Halloween night 2022.
yes, I do have that, Frankie. I was hoping to get you to say something on here about it because we have an hour to talk, right? Hoping you'd tell the children right now something that maybe you didn't say in the video even.
Spill it, Frankie. We need a safety lesson.
You have
Frankie
other facts about Halloween for us, Frankie?
Debbie says, stay away from bad kids. Don't go near those bad kids, especially teenagers. There's a lot of them. They don't know what they're doing.
Gotta watch out for the teenagers this Halloween.
Well, okay.
French physicist André Marie Ampère in 1775 to 1836 is when she lived. She was among the first scientists to take seriously accounts of raining animals. Addressing the Society of Natural Science, Ampère suggested that frogs at times and toads roam the countrysides in large numbers and that violent winds picked them up and carried them great distances. After reported rain of fish in Singapore in 1861, French naturalist Francis de Laporte de Castelnau speculated that a migration of walking catfish had taken place, dragging themselves overland from one puddle to another following the rain.
I guess that Halloween is starting to catch on in Britain. It's been a very, very North American thing in the way that we know it. It's, most other parts of the world don't dress up the way we do or send their children out begging for sugary food, door-to-door panhandling for diabetes. But I read an article earlier today. A lady in Britain is trying to make us think about how Halloween decorations should be banned, because she went into, I assume it was a restaurant or a gas station or something, and the bathroom had a sign that said "keep out." We've all seen those "keep out" signs. So she interpreted it to mean out of order, and so she didn't use the washroom. She was confused by a Halloween decoration, and she therefore has decided that it's too confusing for people and that they should be banned. Now,
She should keep out.
And did you hear about that over in Russia? And Russia's getting stricter all the time.
They're totally against animal rain there.
I would like to see something larger than frogs. Let's start with some small sharks, but not sure what's up quite next on the evolutionary ladder.
So every year during Halloween, I go to the dollar stores and Quesnel. There's two main dollar stores, and there's the one where everything's $1.25, and then there's the bourgeois dollar store where things can be as much as $5. So I'll go to both. I'll buy Halloween decorations that are specifically gory or extra awesome. So I have a bunch of different kinds of keep out, get out, signs like that around the outside of my house, and it's kind of funny, right? Where the walls are talking again.
I think Disney Plus has finally lumped together all of the Simpsons Halloween specials. They've got different Halloween packs of things
in one playlist.
Yeah,
finally, because every year I find some Simpsons playlist on whatever streaming service I could find it on, and then I have to, and Disney being the last couple of years, and I have to go through every season and go look through for the Halloween episode, because all I want to watch anymore in the Simpsons, it seems like, is the Halloween episodes, because they're just so twisted and hilarious. And not that I've lost any love for the Simpsons. Is am I going to tune in to watch TV of anything frequently? No.
Let's do a tornado siren.
A current scientific hypothesis involves tornadic water spouts, a tornado that forms over water. Using this hypothesis, a tornadic water spout transports animals to relatively high altitudes, carrying them over large distances. This hypothesis appears supported by the types of animals in these rains, small and light, usually aquatic, and by the suggestion that the rain of animals is often preceded by a storm. However, the theory does not account for how all the animals involved in each individual incident would be from only one species, and not a group of similarly sized animals from a single area. Further, the theory does not also account for genuine tornadic waterspout not actually sucking objects up and carrying them, rather than flinging objects out to the sides. That is true.
Yeah, see, that's why I'm sticking with the idea that it's aliens. Like, why would it be only frogs and not just a whole bunch of yard waste and miscellaneous junk? Like, there would be random garbage, but no.
Because in the world of science, we require evidence. That's the problem, right? So just going to it was God or it was aliens every time we don't understand something is not how we find truthful answers, Imogen.
No, but it's a good placeholder answer. To say aliens really like that one breed of frog, that one breed of fat, squishy little slimy frog. So they just collected up 6,000 of them and then threw them all across that one area. Threw them like Yahtzee dice or whatever it is in a little shaker cup, right? They're playing craps with frogs. But, you know, if it's a placeholder, it keeps it at the social consciousness at the forefront until we find a better answer.
I got a really good one for you here, Imogen. This is an incident called the Kentucky Meat Shower.
I like where this is going. Shower me in meat, Joseph.
Careful what you wish for. The Kentucky Meat Shower was an incident occurring for a period of several minutes between 11 a.m. and 12 p.m. on March 3rd, 1876, where what appeared to be chunks of red meat measuring approximately 2 by 2 inches, with at least one being 4 by 4 inches, fell from the sky in a 100 by 50 yard area near Olympia Springs in Bath County, Kentucky. There exist several explanations as to how this occurred and what the meat was. The most popular theory being the vulture theory, in which a group of vultures regurgitated their meat after being startled into a flight. The exact type of meat was never identified. Have you ever heard about this, Frankie? The Kentucky Meat Shower?
Yeah.
He's heard about the Kentucky meat.
The state of Kentucky used to be home of the Colonel Sanders a long time ago.
Yes, the meat shower. It sounds lovely. It reminds me of that Kids in the Hall sketch where Kevin McDonald's in the bathroom and he's in the shower and he's eating French fries, and he yells out, "Honey, can you pass the malt vinegar?" And then an arm comes in a minute later with malt vinegar, and he's in the shower and his fries are getting wet and he's putting the malt vinegar on and eating it while showering. Anyways, that's not what this is. This is different. At the time, the farmer's wife, Mrs. Crouch, was making soap on her porch when she reported seeing the meat pieces fall from the sky. She said she was 40 steps from her house when the meat started to slap the ground. The meat looked gristly, according to Mrs. Crouch. She and her husband believed the event signified a sign from God. A similar event was later reported in Europe. The phenomenon was reported by Scientific American, New York Times, and several other publications. Most of the pieces were approximately 2 by 2 inches, and one was 4 by 4. The meat appeared to be beef, but according to the report in Scientific America, 2 men who tasted it judged it to be lamb or deer. There was some meat falls in the sky, and you're going to taste it. The different era. Writing in the Sanitarian, Leopold Brandeis identified the substance as nostoc, a type of cyanobacteria. Brandeis gave the meat samples to Newark Scientific Association for further analysis, leading to a letter from Dr. Alan McLean Hamilton appearing in the medical record and stating the meat had been identified as lung tissue from either a horse or a human infant. The structure of the organ in these two cases being almost identical. The composition of the sample was backed up by further analysis, with 2 samples of the meat being identified as lung tissue, 3 as muscle, and 2 as cartilage.
I'm impressed that someone just ate this godly meat and then later found out it was infant lung tissue.
This is a completely twisted story.
It is a completely awesome
Brandeis's nostoc theory relied on the fact that nostoc expands into a clear like jelly mass when rain falls on it, often giving the sense it was falling with the rain. Charles Fort noted in his book, The Book of the Damned, there had been no rain. Locals favored the explanation the meat was vomited by buzzards, who, as their custom, seeing one of their companions disgorge themselves. Vultures vomit as part of making a quick escape and as a defensive method when threatened. How many vultures are puking meat up, though?
Yeah, like
For-
there's got to be a real infestation of vultures if you've got that many just yakking up all over the township, enough to have it register as meat rain.
Ford explained the fat and dry appearance of the meat chunks as the result of pressure. Noticed that 9 days later, red corpuscles with a vegetable appearance fell over London on March 12th, 1876.
That's
You ever heard of
just
blood rain, Frankie?
Slayer has. That's just straight up heavy metal, man.
It's a phenomenon in which blood is perceived to fall in the sky in the form of rain. Cases have been recorded since Homer's Iliad, composed about 8th century BC. Before the 17th century, it's generally believed the rain was actually blood. Literature mirrors cult practice in which appearance of blood rain was considered a bad omen. It was used as a foreshadowing of bad events. But while some of these may be literary devices, the occurrences are historic. There is now a scientific consensus that the blood rain is a phenomenon called by aerial spores of green microalgae. Recorded instances of blood rain usually cover small areas. The duration can last only a short time, others several days. By the 17th century, explanations for the phenomenon had moved away from the supernatural and attempted to provide natural reasons. In the 19th century, blood rain were scientifically examined, and theories that dust gave the water its red color gained ground. Today, the dominant theories are that rain is caused by red dust suspended in the water droplets or by the presence of microorganisms.
No, that was insane. The fact that it's referred to as a meat shower, there's enough meat falling from the sky, bathing everyone in its gruesome, fetid rancidness. That's straight up Revelations, man. That's Old Testament. See, if you want proof that there is a God, meat showers will do it. It answers the prayers for those who want food.
I don't want proof. I have no value in that.
Okay, guys, let's do a guy acting like a dog. Thanks for watching, Frank Down. Say hi, Joey Oli. I'm Frank Down. You're listening to me, Rock's Weather Report. Every Thursday night's Caribou Weather Dude. Joey Oli's a nice guy. He lives in Wales, British Columbia. Joey Oli's a really nice guy. Caribou Weather Dude, comedian plus meteorology. Joey Oli. He lives in Wales, British Columbia, Canada. I'm on Joey Only Show podcast every Thursday night on his YouTube channel on 7 o'clock p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 11 p.m. Atlantic Standard Time. I'm Frank Down. You're listening to Joey Only Show, comedian plus meteorology weather reports. Say hi, Joey Only.
Frozen iguanas. The residents, live science reports, the residents of Tallahassee, Florida, braced for their first measurable snowfall in 28 years. Other Floridians braced for a hailstorm of frozen iguanas. The cold-blooded lizards are an invasive species but like to make their homes. So I guess they fell out of the trees, is what that was. There is a mass of iguanas falling out of trees everywhere.
Yeah, they do that. They can be really clumsy. And when they get cold, like their body temperature slows down. So their body temperature drops. Their heart rate slows down enough that they can't really move and they can't hang on. So they just lose their grip and fall over. It's unfortunate.
You are listening to the Comedy Meteorology Report on C4 88.7 FM and CKUW 95.9 FM. And on my YouTube channel, live Thursday nights, we record 7 p.m. If you ever want to come in, and feel free to leave comments in the chat there, and we'll try to check that once in a while and see what people are saying. So we're talking about weird things that fell from the sky at Halloween discussions. This Halloween, Frankie warns you to watch out for them teenagers.
That's really specific.
There's a lot of teenagers trying to start their podcast lately.
What kind of things do teenagers do, Frankie?
There's a lot of them down in the States trying to start their podcasts. A lot of them don't succeed at all. They try their best.
In Mexico, fish fall from the sky so often, there's a name for it. Illuvia de peces.
What kind of fish? This is what I need to know. I'm not fascinated. I'm not distracted by the fact that it happens, but I need to know what kind of fish.
So in the Live Science article, guess what? Number 3 on your list is meat. What made chunks of meat fall out of the sky in Bath County, Kentucky in 1876?
But that still doesn't answer what kind of fish rained in Mexico. Was it smoked fish? Was it fresh fish?
It was probably fresh fish.
See, now, if there's a sardine factory, it could have been sardines. Or if it was from some kind of a canning facility, then it could have been, something else. Canned fish. Did it rain canned fish, Joey?
No. Apparently, in
Maybe it's that.
1969, it rained golf balls, and the theory is that a water spout scooped up golf balls that had been hit into the water, into a water hazard by errant golfers. So there must have been over time hundreds of golf balls in that water.
And some of those places in the States, they get softball-sized hail or even a grapefruit-sized hail.
What happens if you get hit by softball-sized hail, Frankie?
They
You
get
become a better pitcher.
chance of death.
Good chance you're going to die, he says.
Oh,
Grapefruit size hail's bigger.
but it's healthier because it's grapefruit.
That's
What
true.
about basketball size hail?
Imagine a hailstone the size of planet Earth, Frankie. What would that do?
Destroy the Earth. What happens if it's just imagine it's a hailstone size of our universe?
That would just be a frozen universe, wouldn't it? Would there be planets inside? What's inside the hailstone, Frankie?
Humongous.
I think the mass of that hailstone would actually collapse in on itself. So that hailstone would become a black hail.
Yeah,
Come on,
so
that was really funny. No one get that? A black hail? It's the black hole that collapsed. And thank goodness there's science students out there who listen to this show.
none of them are here, and all we hear is the crickets. To be fair, though, that was solid wordplay. Good for you.
Thank you. Thank you.
And half the fun of dad jokes is ruining the joke. It's stomping on it. That is half the fun of a dad joke.
Still right now in British Columbia right now, we got snowfall warnings in East Columbia and West Columbia right now, and rainfall warnings in Howe Sound, Metro Vancouver. And there's also snowfall warnings in the Shuswap. So I'm sure by the time you hear this on the radio on Saturday, it'll be a different story. But that's what's going on today. Just nasty weather. The cold spot in Canada right now, it's still Eureka Nunavut. It was last week as well. And Newfoundland, 17 degrees right now at this hour. And so it would be midnight in Newfoundland right now, and very nice and warm in St. John's at night. So that was one thing I was very surprised about when I was in Newfoundland in late November. I expected to be going to this like harsh Arctic place, but instead it was much more like Vancouver than I expected in a lot of ways. Hot spot in British Columbia at 7:37 tonight, 14 degrees in Penticton, and but Prince George, is there any chance that it ends anytime soon? Well, yeah, a little bit. The interior seems like it's going to be drawing out a little more over the coming days, whereas the coast and the mountain ranges will continue to accumulate a lot more. Saturday, 40% chance of showers in Prince George, high of 9 degrees, a low of 7. So that's really nice weather. Sunday, high of 9 in Prince George, a low of -4 at night. So we start to see it cooling off in the days coming after. 2 degree high of Monday, -7 at night. And then we run into chances of flurries on Tuesday. Low chance, 30%, but dipping a high of 0 on Tuesday and a high of 0 on Wednesday, -8 at night. So we see that the temperature will continue to slowly eke its way back down. What's the most snow you ever had in Sydney, Nova Scotia, Frankie?
That was the most snow I ever had. That was a long time ago. When I was only a little kid. It had over big, huge snowbanks in the early 1990s, in late 1980s.
Yeah, big huge snowbanks. That's
How much
awesome.
snow was there? What happened?
Over 80 centimeters or so to 90 centimeters or so. That's before I was born in the early 1980s.
How old are you, Frankie?
38 years old.
Oh, okay. No wonder you're grumbling about teenagers. That's what you do when you're 38. You grumble about teenagers.
Where's all the other guys like Gabriel?
Gabriel hates us. So yeah, Gabe, no one's been able to find Gabe in a while. He occasionally live streams with his weird rambling hockey commentaries or something, or it's just his musings on life. He does that once in a while, but he hasn't actually joined us in a bit. Tracked him down a couple times, but
the other guy, Joe Stover's busy with the Bear season.
Yes.
He was on a couple weeks ago with us though, and he shared Maple Leafs rap, and it was great.
Yeah.
So he's around. I think on games, I know there was a Leafs game tonight that's on right now in San Jose. The Leafs are playing in San Jose, and I'm missing it to be with you. That's
and Brandon's a haunted house.
Our ginger gem is in a haunted house right now. He's going through and terrorizing people, being the scariest thing in there. Ooh, do you think he dressed up?
That means Remembrance Day is November 11th on a Friday.
Do you think Brandon dressed up for the haunted house? He's doing Halloween stuff. You kind of have to.
I think he's dressed up. So right now it's 1-0 San Jose Sharks over the Maple Leafs. So that's where Gabriel is right now. He's tuned to his TV, but yeah, he's been doing his own thing. He's been working, and he's had to go through some changes, I guess. As we do when we're approaching 20 years old, we're finding out who we are and finding out what's working and what's not working. So he's a good young lad, and I hope he knows just how much we care about him. Because we do. Joe Stover, he's with the Polar Bears right now. Last year, we did a little interview with Joe Stover, and I put it on my YouTube channel, Joey Only Caribou Weather Dude. If you want to have a look at some of the things Joe Stover sees, just go in the search bar and search Joe Stover Polar Bears. You'll find. So he drives this tank. It's like a big bus with mini wheels, and they drive through the polar bears. And the tourists look out the window at the polar bears safely from a distance because the polar bears can't get into the tank. They take pictures, and then they go back to Germany or wherever, and they oh, look at the polar bears. And they're all very excited about their polar bear pictures. And Joe Stover, he's that guy. He gets to do that. And he fuels up their airplanes probably too at the airport in Churchill, Manitoba. He's quite the guy. We're lucky when we have him on.
That for about 8 to 10 weeks out of the year, we're kind of walking around town with our heads on swivels, because Churchill is directly on the polar bears migration route as they head out onto to the Hudson Bay. And the Hudson Bay coast around Churchill is usually the first place that the ice forms. So that whole area is a reason why there are a crazy amount of polar bears there. And somebody decided to put a human town right in the middle of it. So it definitely has its challenges, but it's so much more rewarding. We're so used to having them around, and there's so many safety protocols in place, so we can certainly enjoy them at a distance or from our vehicles and things like that. But you obviously need to be careful for a good part of the fall to always make sure that there's nothing waiting for you around the corner or sneaking up behind you or anything.
Has that ever happened where someone's like walking home from the bar and gets mauled by a polar bear?
There was one recently about, it's got to be 8 years ago now. Yeah, 2013. There was a group of people walking home from a Halloween party, and they stumbled upon a young adult bear, and they just spooked it enough that it went charging after them. And so it caught one girl and started kind of really mashing her. Then there was a fella who actually, he lived right by where this was happening, 69-year-old fella at the time, Billy Ayotte, and he opened the door, saw what was happening, grabbed the closest thing to him, which was a shovel, and he went out and smacked the bear over the head with a shovel, and he ended up getting mauled, but thankfully and miraculously, both of them survived, and yeah, they're both still kicking, both still living in Church. So I'm lucky enough to work with a group called Frontiers North Adventures, who runs the Tundra Buggies, and I do logistical stuff for them, and a lot of bus driving and doing some tours and things like that, and was able to get out on one of our last Tundra Buggies of the year and got to take some cool pictures and videos, and we had bears coming right up to us and checking us out. It was incredible. It's always incredible to see that sort of thing. It's pretty much from the 1st of October until the middle of November. But I always tell people the best time to come is Halloween, because it's pretty much peak time, and there's always lots of interesting things going on in Churchill around Halloween with the trick-or-treaters and things like that. And, having a polar bear patrol for Halloween to make sure that the kids are safe. And because there's always lots of bears around Halloween. So Halloween is when I would aim for.
With a polar, play dead. No, polar bears eat dead things.
Blizzard! Warning! Blizzard! Warning! Real town! Very slippery! Real town! No! Be prepared!
Major winter storm headed towards Churchill, Manitoba on Monday, October 24th, 2022. It's going to bring up to 30 plus centimeters of snow in Churchill, Manitoba, surrounding areas. It's going to bring so much snow in Churchill, Manitoba. The winds are going to be very strong. It's going to cause blowing, drifting snow, reduced visibility, dangerous and treacherous driving conditions in Churchill, Manitoba. It'll be a lot of blowing snow, reduced visibilities. It's going to bring a lot of whiteout conditions in Churchill, Manitoba, surrounding areas. I want everyone in Churchill to be extra prepared, dress real warm, Wear warm clothes. Wear warm gear. Have your heat pumps ready to keep the house warm. Have your furnaces ready to keep the house warm. Drink lots of green tea, white tea, red tea. Drink lots of green tea to keep warm. Make sure you have your shovels, snow scoops, snow blowers, snow plows, soft trucks ready as well. For people living in Churchill, Manitoba, make sure you wear your winter gear when you go outside. Don't even walk too far because there's a lot of snow in Churchill, Manitoba for Monday, October 24, 2022 in the forecast from Franktown. In Nova Scotia, kids got no school tomorrow in my area, Sydney, Nova Scotia, and the rest of Nova Scotia. That's a provincial in-service for kids.
Does that include teenagers?
Yes.
So them teenagers have a long holiday, Halloween weekend. And the next holiday right after that, yes, thanks.
Remembrance Day, November
Remembrance.
11th. Everything's closed in Canada.
That's when, we look back at the history of the wars and remember everyone who fought and died. Remembrance Day always brings different things, and I'm sure I'll talk about this more when we get to Remembrance Day next week or something like that. But for me, coming from a Dutch family who came over in the 50s, the war was a big impact on our family history. And I'm learning more about my Johnson side and how grandfather and his brother went and fought in the war. And then I seen photographs of his ancestors in World War I, all dressed in their, and they don't smile in the pictures. They just stand there in their uniform, right? Also, I had a friend, an acquaintance who was killed in Afghanistan. So I often think about Nathan Corporal Hornberg when I'm at the cenotaph and the kind of person he was and the kind of life he could have led.
On Thursday, November 24th, is American Thanksgiving in the States.
How come they have a different Thanksgiving than we do, Frankie?
Because it is traditional down in the States. It's like a families get together. Like Brian celebrates his Thanksgiving on the 24th.
How come they don't celebrate their Thanksgiving earlier like we do? I think
it's different there.
Are they less thankful? So they just don't care? They just wait longer?
That means it's like a civil war a long time ago.
No one knows why we have two different Thanksgivings. I suggest the reason is that in a lot of the United States, harvest continues much later than it does in Canada. So
that would make sense of it for sure.
Yes. Especially, you think about the hundreds of millions of people in the States that live along coastal areas and live in southern reaches. Imogen has just become a nun before our eyes.
Nun for half an hour, man.
On Black Friday down in the States, the day after Thanksgiving, a lot of people show up in the store and trying to get the items off the shelves, like electronics and things like this for Christmas.
What kind of candies are you going to hand out to kids at Halloween, Frankie?
I go for walks and things like this. Oh my God! On a Black Friday, a lot of people will be trying to buy tablets and stores and computers and TVs and feasts and DVD players and things like this and home theaters. They'll be buying video games and things like this. They'll be buying clothes on Black Friday. They'll be buying electronics, TVs, things like this, consoles, laptops, tablets, desktop computers.
When is Black Friday, Frankie?
25th of November.
You have just 1 month to practice your martial arts, everybody. So that if you're in Black Friday, people go in there and they fight.
Not in Canada, down in the States, they do.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they do.
Hey, tough man.
Cyber Mondays on November 28th. Courier's going to be so busy. Canada Post, United States Postal Service, UPS, FedEx, and all these couriers. They'll be so busy.
Why did people fight on Black Friday?
They're trying to fight for their laptop or tablet. Samsung Galaxy Tab S8 Ultras, laptops, gaming laptops, all those computers, Chromebooks, cell phones, smartphones, etc.
I like the etc. That's what I'm a big fan of. I'm lining up to get my etc. It's dirt cheap.
People trying to fight over action figures, people trying to fight over stuffed animals, things like this on Black Friday as well.
Doesn't make any sense to me. So you're going to risk an assault charge in order to go and buy an item, right? So, if you're going to get an assault charge, you might as well just go and beat someone up on the street and take their cell phone.
Over in Russia, you're not allowed to talk about the certain things over in Russia. You're not allowed to take pictures of railroads. You're not allowed to take pictures of government buildings. You're not allowed to take pictures of military bases, train tracks, the airports, theaters, and things like this in industrial areas over there.
Now we have a
Okay.
giant pickle.
Now,
Giant
for
pickle. What kind of Halloween treats do people get in Ukraine, Poland, in Russia? Giant pickle.
cabbage. What's all about, man? Cabbage. You know, I want to circle back to
Wrong.
this Black Friday thing. I'm just
They
going to throw
get
it out there.
potato. They get
If I-
potato.
I heard that in Russia they have no freedom of speech over there. In Russia, it's no freedom of speech over in Russia,
I
China, in Cuba, in North Korea, Laos, in Vietnam.
mean,
Middle East countries don't have freedom of speech, like Afghanistan, Iran, Iraq,
Oh,
Syria.
Iran sucks for it. Yeah, so I want to point out that with the freedom of speech thing, I get all sorts of censorship warnings for the videos that I post, and they're all muted in like Laos and Sri Lanka. Copyright issues. Apparently, a lot of the music that I play in my videos is copyrighted, so we're not allowed to. We can play it here. It's copyrighted here. We're allowed to play it, but Sri Lanka doesn't get it, or they get like weird muted versions of stuff. I challenged their concept of freedom and their concept of party.
I do have something I want to talk to you about quickly, and that's the Radiothon. And that's going on in Seaford 88.7 FM right now, and the Radiothon. So what the idea is, we're trying to get people to give money to Seaford 88.7. So I don't know a whole lot about this, but what we're trying to do is pitch. I'm not a very good salesman, I get it, but if you enjoy your community radio, and this could be the same as well for all of you in CKUW land, if maybe you don't want to go to cfer.ca/radioathon or call 778-693-2387 extension 5. That's 778-693-2387 extension 5. And send some money to these radio stations and try to keep small time broadcasting going, because so this is a good cause, community radio. That's why you get radio shows like myself, and
And
we're
Gary,
volunteers.
that's another thing.
Yes, it is. It's a thing.
We are volunteers, and so those of you who listen regularly, please do call in the radio station and make a pledge. And you're going to hear that again and again on C4 88.7. 778-693-2387 extension 5. Send some money in, make a pledge, help the station out. So that's what I gotta say.
That means I remember that guy Mike Taylor. He used to run his podcast. Now he works for the corporate radio station in Kerrville, Texas.
Kerrville is where the folk festival is down there, and I've had a lot of friends who played down at Kerrville Folk Festival over the years. A very good friend of mine who died of COVID last year, if you recall, Ann Feeney, one of my heroes and mentors. She was a big Kerrville Folk Festival part of that, and her daughter continues to live down there and be part of that. I can add to the Radioathon. Again, cfer.ca/radioathon, 778-693-2387, extension 5. If you send $10 in, you're going to get an awesome CFER sticker. If you pledge $50, you get a sticker and a CFER t-shirt. You've probably seen me wear one before. They're really nice shirts.
And another guy, Roger the Wild Child Show, he's not on a cooperative radio station. He runs his own podcast on Sunday nights and Wednesday nights.
If you send $70 to CFER, you get a sticker, a t-shirt, and an entry to an exclusive Radioathon wrap-up party at the Page Legion, where Danny Bell is always putting bands on. That'll be a karaoke, a 50-50 draw, a silent auction, performances by Grace Hawksbergen, Sean Wesley Wood, and Patchwork. And if you give $100 to CFER 88.7, you get everything listed above and a limited edition, one-of-a-kind, super versatile camping mug. So that's what I have to say for this week about the Radioathon. And I mean, the station won't exist without donations. So that's my pitch for you this week. Frankie, talk to us about the radio station you have in Nova Scotia. Do you have a radio station like this?
Cape Breton University has one.
I hope someday we're on that station.
It's out to CBU on Grand Lake Road, Sydney, Nova Scotia.
Happy Halloween to everyone who's been watching on my Joey Only Carey Weather
I
Do
sent you an
YouTube
email a
channel.
long time ago. You archived it. I sent you an email. You got the email to CBU.
Yes. So happy Halloween, Norsewood Company Custom. Happy Halloween, Shelly Solinsky. She says she saw a trout fall from the sky. No one saw eagles fighting over it and dropped it it was awesome. So an eagle dropped a fish. Christine Jensen, happy Halloween to you too. Thanks for a great show, she says. So that's the show for this week. Frankie, how does everyone find you on the world of the internet?
My Twitter is @FrankieMcD. My Facebook is Frankie McDowell. My Instagram is Frankie McD1984. My TikTok is FrankDown1984. My Clapper is FrankDown1984. My Twitch is FrankDown1984. My Snapchat is Frankie McCDO. And my YouTube channel is Dogs Wolves. My LinkedIn is Frankie McDonald. Best luck to you, I'm Frank Down. You're listening to Community Meteorology Weather Report, Joy Only, every Thursday night.
Thanks everyone for tuning in, and we will see you next week. Hey, have a great weekend for those of you in Prince George, and have a great work week for those of you in Winnipeg. Sorry that we didn't have Brandon this week to give us our prairie weather. I could, though, look really quickly and tell you, but I mean, the thing is, I'm 5 days looking out, so I don't know. You probably have much better forecasts already available to you in Winnipeg. Thanks very much, Frankie McDonald. Thank you, Giant Pickle /Nun /Duffman /Cleopatra /Image Cookie Bailey. You're wonderful.
Happy Halloween, everyone.
And Imogen has a line of supplements that she's out there selling. If you got throw the website out there real quick, Imogen.
That is veneratesubs.ca, or find the link easier on my personal website, which is www.imogen.in. That's IMOGEN.in.
So help her grow her company so that she will in turn someday sponsor this show, Venerate Supplements. Brought to you by Venerate Supplements. Tough! It'll be
Get
like
pickled!
All right, that's the show for this week. Love you all very much. Thanks so much for being around. I'm Joey Only, signing out here in snowy Wells, British Columbia. Bye now.
Blizzard! Warning! Blizzard! Warning! Real town! Very slippery! Real town! People in Minnesota, order your Chinese food, order your pizzas. Good luck. Be prepared.